Right, Trev's asked me to try and do a rig or two for you, so I'm going to try. They're all basic rigs, like, you know what I mean? Everyone puts a little bit of a twist on it or whatever. So I'm just going to tie up one of the standard day ticket rigs I normally do. Normally start off with a bit of braid, 10, 12 inches long. With my eyesight and stuff like that, it's nice to be able to have a bit of spare and then trim it all back. I'm not bothered about wasting 2 or 3 inches of the stuff. I normally strip back about this much of the coated braid, like that. I use my teeth, other people use braid strippers and whatnot, but hey ho. And then I'll tie a overhand knot just to form the hair. It's nothing out of the ordinary. It's just put the braid together, try and fold it over, and then try and fish it through. Something like that. Yep. There we go. And then decent pair of braid blades, you can just trim that little tag end off. And then what I'll do, I'll take the end of this, cut a small piece of 1mm tubing on there, thread it onto the braid, which is quite difficult because it is a tiny hole in there and I'm 90 years old. So tubing's on there, and then I'll take my hook, and I need to take my hook pointed end going towards the loop, not the other way around. So I'll take that and push that down inside the tubing. Excuse the shaking, but it's a bit difficult. Like that. Once I've got it just into the tubing, and you slowly ease it on. Trying not to pierce the tubing on the way through, which is why you use the coated braid on this and not uncoated, because uncoated braid you would have no chance. Once you've pushed it on, you should be able to force it around the hook, because this will be used to position the length of the hair that you want. Then you can pull this through like this. Yeah, easy as that. Then you can use a baiting needle. Now what I tend to do, a lot of people like pop-ups, a lot of people like bottom baits, a lot of people like wafters. I tend to use half a bottom bait and half a pop-up. Reason being, I don't want the bait stood up in mid-air 2 inches off the bottom. Some of the day ticket fish are pretty scared of that sort of thing. So this, all I'm trying to achieve really is, one, I've got a choice. If I can change the colour, I can have a yellow and an orange, or an orange and a white, or whatever seems to be working on that day. People think colours don't make a difference, but they definitely do. Ask a match fisherman, he'll tell you. One day white maggots work, another day a red and a white will work, so on and so forth. So this is basically just to take away the weight of the hook, make the bait a little bit more buoyant, so when that fish comes along sucking up any free baits that you've put out there, he's obviously used the same amount of suck on your bait, which is a little bit more buoyant than the standard bottom baits, and it should, in theory, shoot further back into his mouth to give you a better chance of hooking it. Right, so we've got the bait on, we've got that on. If you adjust where you've done the knot in the loop from there to there, you can use that knot to hold this second half of bait still. It will stop it sliding up and down the hair, because the knot sits inside the bait. So then we can slide that down till there. I normally have this tubing just level with the tip of the point, maybe round a little bit more like that. I'd give it a little bit of play, not too much. On day ticket waters, they're pretty cute, so I'd rather have a short hair rather than a long hair. And then I'll take this through the loop of the, or rather through the eye of the hook, like this. And then I'll twist it round there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pull that coating back a little bit. 5. Once back down towards it. I'll hold that take the end of this and fish this back through the eye again, like that, and then pull that through. Now, what I'll do, I'll keep that pulled down, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this bunched up plastic coating to hold the putty on. So then I'll take a piece of shrink tubing, right, thread the line through the shrink tubing, slide that down, slide it down over the eye of the hook. You can wrap this around your fingers to give you a little bit more leverage. Slide that on till I've just covered that knot, right, and I can slide that tubing up a little bit more there. That will keep my bait in the right position, stop it swinging round and catching on the point of the hook. If that tubing wasn't used and this was flapping about, there's a good chance if you've had a fish take your bait and spit it out again without getting hooked, this could come around and sit on the point like so, and you're not going to get a pricked fish. So that tubing slid back up to there, like so. And then this, you would obviously strip that plastic back a little bit more to there. This you would put over the kettle, shrink it, and then put a kink in the end of it. I won't do it now, but it's not rocket science. You hold it over the steam of the kettle, like so. Once it shrinks down, hold the end and just kink it over. Very similar to what I've done here. This is another version of the rig I use, but that's your plastic, that's your shrink tube, that's your kicker. This is a slip D rig, or similar, some call it. And you use this bit of shrink tube in here. A lot of them are calling it a noodle rig, because it looks like a bit of noodle from your pot noodle or whatever. But what it actually is an extended kicker. And it makes it that little bit harder for the carp to kick it out.